So, what's the title of this episode, babe? So that way I can at least be prepared.
Riverdance.
Oh, let me see if I can find something.
Oh, God. He's going to try to make a joke out of it now.
Yeah, it's okay. We got all night. Not.
And see, it's even asking, are you playing music? Riverdance, bitch. Riverdance. Riverdance. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Trash Talk Roundtable, where we're going to break down episode 16, Riverdance.
Woo!
Hey! It's myself, Ricky Hayes, my beautiful wife, Karina Hayes.
Woohoo!
And the one, the only, the sexual Joshua Chambers.
What?
Yeah, I threw the Joshua in there. That's right.
Dropping the Joshua
That's like the
on
third
today.
person this week that said Joshua instead of Josh. I'm going to have to.
Well, then that means if three completely different people tell you something, that means it's the truth.
Whatever. Anyways.
So, guys, like we said, episode 16, Riverdance. I don't want to waste any time. Let's just go ahead and dive right in.
Yeah, so we come back from, Kyle won the last elimination and infiltrated Sapphire. And so we're coming back from that. As they're walking back into the house, I kind of found it funny. Emmanuel's like, talking a bunch of shit on his confessional, like calling Kyle a chicken and like doing the chicken noises, like bok, 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 whatever. And I was just sitting there the whole time watching it. And I was just like, dude, like, I wonder how pissed Kyle is seeing this, because like Emmanuel wouldn't fucking say that to his face. Like, get out of here, And then like the very next scene, he does it to his face. And like, I just thought that was kind of cool. Like, just gave me another side yet again to Emmanuel.
Yeah, I don't know. He might be messing around with the wrong guy. Like I said, Kyle's kind of a beast in eliminations. It's like, Nelson. Everybody sleeps on Nelson because he's trash at dailies, or at least he's got the longest streak of being trash right now. But dude, you get him into an elimination, that's where he, thrives. And I think Kyle's very similar in that way. But nevertheless, I mean, we haven't seen Emmanuel do anything yet, so we don't know if he's good, bad, indifferent. So hard to really know on this.
It gave, when they're walking back into the house and this is transpiring, it gave me pussy chicken vibes, or chicken pussy.
Yeah.
Which one is
it? Pussy chicken. Yeah.
Right. Totally.
Chicken pussy.
Chicken pussy.
It gave me that
Kyle
kind
and
of vibe,
Manuel.
you didn't want to go up against me, just like Jordan would be like, I'd be stupid to go to an elimination against Tori. And it gave me that kind of vibes, just a little bit, not on the same aspect or level in any way, shape, or form, but just a little hint of that Turbo Jordan interaction.
I can smell where you're cooking. I can kind of see that.
All right.
So we go from that though, and we get in next. Everybody's having their little conversations. We get a sneak peek into Devin actually talking with Kyle and expressing how he misses Josh, and he kind of like blames Tori and Amanda for their fuckery in the house, ending up with Josh down in elimination, and of course he lost to Kyle. And then we get the CT and Emmy team meeting, where we obviously already know CT is not happy that Kyle has come over to Sapphire again, and he's expressing that to Emmy here in this situation, and she is not wanting to accept this. She wants them to make up. She's like, look, you guys have to work this out, because if you guys don't work this out, we're not going to win.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I really enjoyed the Devin talking about how he missed Josh, because it shows that they actually have built a real friendship beyond what's 9 times 7 and borrowing each other's sweatsuits and whatnot. So
Big Brother sucks.
But with that being said, Big Brother does suck. But with that being said, I miss the friendship. I think it was a good combination. And, I understand the pairing. Devin and Josh went into that alliance knowing that they're not going to beat a CT, they're not going to beat a Corey in a final, and they were working together so they could run in the final against one another, and it'd be maybe a fair matchup, so to say. No hate on Devin, no hate on Josh, just it is what it is.
Right. And my whole thought was, what if we go back and we watch this and Devin's like, oh crap, Josh really did say, of the three, he did say Tori's name, But so where does that go? Because Tori is his number one. We see him today. They're still friends. We just saw the duck in the both of their stories for Thanksgiving.
2 days and a duck.
He did. Yeah. Shout out to the duck.
Coming soon. But yeah, I mean, here's my thing is, I think Devin's smart enough to know that Tori's probably going to get him further in an alliance than Josh is going to get him at the end of the day. Tori, as much hate as she gets, I think if you're going to say, hey, pick a better female player or a male player to partner up with, and you can choose Josh or Tori, which one are you going to choose?
Tori.
And I mean, that pretty much goes for the fandom regardless. And no, not a knock on Josh, just, what we've seen of him thus far hasn't been that great. With that being said, I do see Devin's point of view of, halfway blaming Tori and Amanda for the whole situation going down the week previously, because like we said last week, Tori made a deal when she didn't have to, which inevitably led to Emerald versus Ruby, instead of, maybe getting another rookie in like Logan on Sapphire.
Anyway, so after the CT Emmy scene and the Devin and Kyle about Josh and all of that, we get the little boat day. TJ surprises all the house guests with a boat day, and they get to go out on the boat. So that was a lot of fun to see them kind of get out of the house and get out of the kind of game element. And just kind of have some fun. And that was cool. When we get back, we get the conversation that I was waiting for. We get Devin and Tori talking. And this whole conversation is pretty much centered around the fact that Tori just wants Devin to apologize for hurting her feelings and making her cry. Like, I don't even really take it as her wanting him to apologize for the game or anything like that. It's just, she sees him as a real life friend who hurt her real life feelings and wanted an apology for it. And Devin refuses to apologize to her.
Right. He originally takes it as she's wanting to apologize for something else. It was miscommunication. They weren't exactly understanding what they wanted from each other to begin with until the very end when Tori's saying that. And his thought process is he always overthinks everything. I mean, we've talked to him. We see where he's coming from. And that's how I took it, is he's stuck on the first thing that they started talking about. And she's moved on to be like, all right, just apologize for hurting my feelings. And it just went, and he stuck to his guns on the first argument.
Here's my whole thing on this Tori Devin situation. I'm going to try to be the voice of reason on this, because I know I have two very passionate Devin fans sitting right next to me. Also fans of Tori nonetheless, maybe a little bit more passionate on this side than with Josh. But with that being said, Devin made a classic blunder, just an absolute classic blunder, which is he has never been married. So he doesn't understand that sometimes you just shut the fuck up and you apologize, even though you didn't do anything wrong. You just say, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry. I fucked up. And that's the end of it. Game over. That's all you had to do.
That's better than chocolate or flowers in most cases.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can look, flowers die and then they have to be cleaned up and just work. Chocolates, hit or miss. Sorries always work.
Oh my God.
They don't. That's bullshit. But in this situation, it would have worked.
They're Band-Aids. They're Band-Aids at best.
Yeah. And to be completely honest, at least from the edit, that's all that Tori really wanted was just, and I'm sorry. She didn't want anything more than that.
Well, she spells it out for him. She even tells him exactly what to say. Like, she writes it out in big, giant, colorful crayon for him. Tori, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, see, like I don't get it.
See, I'm a traditional male. Like, comprehension isn't my strength. It's saying I'm sorry.
She probably would have been happy with just the simple acknowledgement that he is aware that he hurt her feelings. That probably would have went just as far as him saying those actual words. Be like, hey, Tori, I understand I hurt your feelings. Let's move on. That probably would have went big with her.
Oh, yeah. It would have been a discussion over. They had, instead of 20 minutes of them crying and arguing, it would have been 3 minutes.
Right. Yep. And then they just still left where they started.
Exactly, right? You know what I mean? Just like it's only going to take us 3 minutes to get through that whole argument. So on to the next part, which was a conversation with Logan and Big T, where Big T is, man, she's catching some shit from other people in the house, but Logan kind of shoots her straight with it and says that she can't complain about losing because she hasn't been, preparing herself not to lose, basically calling her out for not training as hard as perhaps she should. I know she's not a big fan of working out in the midday sun, but sometimes you got to make sacrifices.
CT tried to get her on this track and learn previously. And he tried to say, hey, this is what you need to do. You need to get up early. You want to win? You're up before sun and you're out there working it, or you're not going to win. You can't expect
sometimes you don't even sleep in these finals. Like, you're telling me that they got a bunch of sleep in like Battle of the X's too, when they were sleeping up on top of that damn glacier after jumping in that ice pool up there? No. Fuck no, they didn't sleep that night. You know what I mean? So it's like, you have to prepare yourself in so many different ways. And, maybe, yeah, she does work out. And, we've seen her doing, like, she was part of Nelly's boot camp. And I think she even did the one with CT.
I was part of Nelly's boot camp. It didn't wear me out. I'm good.
But, but at the same time, it's like, it's still that thing of, okay, that's great, but it's just still not enough,
Yeah.
Look, I just feel like Big T isn't honoring her blood in, blood out oath that she made with Tori and the other Ruby team. I'm just going to be honest on that. And secondly, you're probably hearing our cat meow. So hold on 1 second. Shut up. I made eye contact. That was a mistake. So one, not honoring the oath. Secondly, and I think this is more on a larger grand idea of how the show should be casted, is should every person that is on this show actually be a contender to win? Or do you need some people that just aren't going to be, going to fit that role and inevitably are just good TV, but not necessarily, God damn it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Ivan the Terrible. He's our cat. He's about 7. He's an asshole. And he likes to meow.
I want to be heard.
Yeah, I mean, he has his opinion on this subject. So, but anyways, like I'm saying is, it's a bigger overall arch to me, which is, should everyone be competitive? Should it all be Jenny West and no Big T's? Should it all be CT, Marlon, and Fessy and no Devin and Josh's? I feel like you have to have that mix because that's what creates the drama and the watchability of the show. Otherwise, what's the difference between that and, if it's all athletes and watching, the NFL or the NHL or, whatever it may be, whatever sport you're into.
All right. You need a good mix of heavy hitters and whiz kids.
Max and Dave.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that, but I think to just kind of further like Logan's point, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with having the Big T's in the house. But at the same time, like, if you're going to be the Big T in the house, then you can't necessarily like expect things from other people, and I feel like that's what she does. That was part of the issue with her and CT, is she expected things from him because they were partners last season and because they had developed a friendship. And I think that, it's nice to have those people there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you deserve a trip to the final.
What do you mean by expect?
Well, like, she wanted to be on CT's team because she knows that CT will win. You know what I mean? But she's not going to put the work in like CT would want her to, kind of a thing.
So like expect to be carried.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I was just going for clarification.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Like Kyle wants to be on CT's team for a reason.
Yes, exactly. Well, but the difference I see between Kyle and Big T is that Kyle puts the work in. Kyle is capable. We've seen him in a final.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like, he's proven, he's gotten to a final by himself before. He's won dailies by himself before. He's okay.
Wait, no. Tell me when he has. I'll wait.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll give you what was that? Vendettas when Cara took him to the final. Okay. I'll give it to you.
Didn't he make the final Total Madness? So
how'd he get there?
with alliances, just like everybody else.
Well, literally, yeah, like everybody else. But I just mean like there's a difference between having someone like Kyle on your team and having someone like Big T on your team. Oh, and 100%. if you're the Big T, then it's like you can't just expect people to not put you into elimination or to, you know, pick up the slack and pick up, you know, whatever you're not capable of doing just because you're good for TV. Like that's, I guess, more what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, look, it's the end product of the game, right? You're winning $1 million. So are you going to want to keep someone around easy that you can beat, but you don't want to get stuck with that person in the final if they happen to make it through.
So we break right into the daily mission. So this week, the daily mission is called $1 Million Heist. And before we actually get into it, I just want to point out that as the season continues to go on, and even just over the last couple of seasons, like MTV has really been doing TJ really good. Like they are giving him some really good intros and, you know, kind of making him a little bit more of the focal point. And me as like a huge TJ fan, I fucking love it. But I just wanted to point that out real quick. I love it. Anyway, so for this daily mission, each cell has $1 million cash in ones in individual safes. And they have 2 duffel bags per team. And the goal is to transfer all of the money in those 2 duffel bags to their individual team's SUV car. It's like a mile or half a mile up the road. They don't really specify it, but at one point Logan says something like, oh, it's just a couple of miles. And so I'm assuming like it's, you know, maybe a mile there and a mile back. I don't know, but and they have to transfer all the money. First team to do it wins.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for breaking down the daily. We're not playing it though.
Right. I felt like I was listening to TJ and then a cast member.
I mean, yeah, like I'm really excited about the TJ part though. I do agree with you on that. I love TJ. I feel like he should host other shows like, I don't know, Amazing Race.
Amazing Race would be awesome.
I mean, I'm going to catch a lot of hell from Big Brother fans, but hell, give him this, you know, a chance at no, I disagree because
I don't know if he can do Big Brother.
Do live. He can't do the live. I mean, he might. Maybe I'm underestimating his abilities. Perhaps he would do a phenomenal job. I don't know.
I don't necessarily think that would be an ability thing. I more look at he doesn't fit with Big Brother. It would just be really weird. But I could see him hosting Amazing Race. That would be pretty awesome, actually. I think he said he was open to it at one point too.
He did.
So that would be cool. Anyway.
It's like Karina said, they have to take off from the car with their 2 duffel bags, run all the way to the safes and start loading up the money. Everybody's starting off actually pretty strong. Big T's, you know, not slowing down to walk or anything. She's running the whole way, which they kind of, you know, zeroed in on right as they start going. They get to the safes, they start loading it up. And it seems like as they're going, Ruby's taking the lead. And you take a look at it with them having, you know, Logan, Tori, Nelson, and Big T being able to push them, that they're going to do pretty well because they've got a pretty athletic team there. So as they're, you know, starting to go, I think by the second or third trip, you hear Devin kind of start chirping in with his advice on how he thinks, or his strategy on how he thinks that they can win, which, you know, is classic Devin. Work smarter, not harder, and, you know, be strategic about how much money you're putting in. Load in as much as you can, so that way you make fewer trips. And, you know, because no matter how big your team is, it's still just 2 duffel bags per team.
Right, exactly. Well, and I love the way that the Emerald team was utilizing all of their players, because they had, you know, obviously they have 5 players. Ruby has 4 and Sapphire has 3. So this wouldn't have been possible for Sapphire. But Emerald was having 2 people carrying each duffel bag. So it wasn't like one person was just getting overly run like a workhorse. But Ruby never once did that. You always saw Logan and Nelson carrying the bags and Tori and Big T just kind of running, which is really impressive when you think about it. I think even at one point during the daily mission, Amanda gives a confessional where she says, like, Nelson is one of the strongest guys that she's ever known. And I mean, I wouldn't necessarily like say that. I think there are people on the challenge who can beat Nelson and have beat Nelson, obviously. But at the same time, like, he's not a pushover. He's not a layup. Like, he has some strength behind him. And I got to give it up to him for that.
Yeah, he's definitely not overrated in any way, shape, or form. And he didn't seem like he wanted to stop. He just kept going and going and going. The one thing I liked about this daily was, even though Sapphire was only had 3, all 3 were pretty much in it the whole time. I think Sapphire was maybe 2 runs behind, as where Ruby was 1 behind. It was still really close.
Yeah, Sapphire stayed in it. And I was going to say, and that was really impressive too. Like, you know, they stayed in it. And I also want to, again, we do this like almost every episode, but I want to give it up for Emmy, because she was even taking loads off of, you know, like CT and Kyle or whatever. She would switch off with them and carry the duffel bags. And I didn't really see any of the other girls on the other teams doing that for their guy players. And, you know, so I just want to give it up to her for that. That was really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of talk on a couple different points. One, I think Nelson's honestly a little bit underrated. I mean, I think people kind of forget, because of how funny he is and how much he gives to the show with his, you know, his mess ups, like the audacity and capital of Texas being San Antonio, that we forget that the guy's been to a final before, you know, barely lost to CT in that final. He, you know, has made it pretty far in seasons. He probably would have made the final in Total Madness and Double Agents. Well, maybe not Double Agents. Fessy screwed him there, but would have probably made the finals in Total Madness if he wouldn't have volunteered to go in for Corey. I mean, to me, other than CT, I think Nelson's the strongest player probably left in the game for the males, in my personal opinion. Also, Emmy killed it, you know, once again, being the only girl on her team, sitting there carrying loads with Kyle and CT. Unfortunately, it seemed like CT was the only one that was actually thinking about the game, though, and trying to make sure all the duffel bags were full. And it seemed like quite a few times that they just weren't. And I think that's inevitably what cost them the loss, or cost them the win. And then same with Ruby. They just, you know, weren't making sure, they weren't being efficient like Emerald was, trying to load up as much cash. And, you know, it's what led Emerald to winning once again.
And I hate to bring Big T up again, but I mean, Big T made a big mistake in that she went into the wrong vehicle and helped push the money in before she got told it was the wrong vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's absolutely right.
Yeah. And I mean, and Ruby was in the lead, I think, at that point. And maybe they weren't fully in the lead, but they were right on Emerald's ass. Like, they could have won if she would have gone to the right car and had it ready. But instead, she wasted a bunch of time and helped the other team, which, you know, I think, you know, definitely contributed to Ruby losing any kind of lead that they would have had to win this game. That leads us right down, you know, to the last 2 runs and right after that. And Tori's trying to talk, you know, everybody into just stuffing everything into the duffel bags. And Logan's pretty much like, no, dude, it's not going to fit. We have to go. We have to go. So they take off. They've got a little bit of money left in their safe. Emerald comes. And of course, they are able to fit everything into their 2 duffel bags, run it up to the car. And as they're unloading it, Ruby is loading back at the safe, loading up the rest of their money in the safe. But unfortunately, of course, Emerald gets the door shut on the car before Ruby can make it back, and they take the win. But what I found interesting was that both Emerald and Ruby were able to completely clean out their safe. Sapphire wasn't able to completely clean out their safe, but they were not far behind. And they had, you know, only 3 people. They had 2 less than Emerald and 1 less than Ruby. And like, they were still right there with them. And that's fucking impressive. I don't care.
I absolutely agree with you on that. I mean, when you got Uncle CT and arguably the best rookie since maybe Cam, maybe even further back than that, maybe the best rookie ever. We don't know yet. And Emmy, I mean, it's a strong team just with those 2.
So we get back to the house and it is Kyle's birthday. And Devin, of course, is making sure to hold true to the dial name. And he throws Kyle a birthday party. It's like a little Scottish themed party. Kyle comes out in like a challenge homemade like kilt. I don't know. It looks like they almost just like took like flannel shirts or something and just like tied them around their waist and open, and Kyle's ass is hanging out. Like it was great. It looked like they had a ton of fun. I loved it. But what I have noticed is that ever since Ashley got sent home, we have not had a club scene. They aren't going to the club. And that makes me a little curious. Like, so did production just completely cut off all of the clubs because of whatever happened? Or like, I don't know. It's just really weird.
They could have, I mean, that could have easily have been a club scene. I don't remember if we got a club scene the night that Devin came out in a Speedo, but I can't recall right now. But I loved it. And, you know, that's where we got the name of the episode for Riverdance. Seeing them all out there in basically a line just trying to do that was hilarious.
It was a really good scene and I liked it. And I liked the fact that, you know, Devin took the responsibility and make sure it went off well. To kind of speak to what you were talking about, the club scenes. I know in the beginning they were not doing them. And then it seemed like after they came back from the quarantine and started refilming again is when they started doing the club scenes. I think, yes, this has a direct correlation with the Ashley Josh situation, because Ashley has mentioned that that was like one of the first nights that they were given actual hard liquor and not just beer. So my assumption is they had a little bit too much fun, led to some bad times, and now they are on punishment.
Right. Production's like, see, this is why we didn't let you guys do that. Now you're done. You're done. You've lost it all. You guys are grounded.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Well, didn't they already make this mistake in the past, and then that's why they started giving them like drink tickets?
They made this mistake like every season in the past. It was glorious too to watch. I mean, look, think about it. Johnny Bananas got jumped by some random fucking guys one season at the bar.
In a bar. Oh my God, I remember
Wasn't that Cutthroat where he came back with the black eye?
I want to say, no, was it? Yeah, maybe it was Cutthroat, but they were out at the bar and this drunk dude at the bar just comes out of nowhere and just like punched Johnny in the face. And yeah, gave him a big old black eye. That was fucking hilarious.
Well,
Thank you,
go.
MTV.
So happy birthday, Kyle.
Yep, happy
good to see Dial stuff.
I love it. I'm here for Dial. I like their little friendship. I think it's cute. But what this really leads into is it leads us into Big T sitting down and talking to Tori. And she pretty much tells her, look, I'm going to nominate myself to go into Elimination. Like I want to be headquarters vote and I want to be able to go down and look at it and, you know, see what's down there and, you know, hopefully win. And then I'm going to switch over to Emerald. And you can kind of see like Emmanuel and Nani are over off to the side, kind of watching the conversation, and they already know what's happening. Like they're not stupid. You know, Nani may not be the best competitor, but she has been around for a long ass time. She knows how this game works. So they go and they talk about it, and Devin calls a team meeting and he's like, look, we know Big T wants to go in. We know she wants to nominate herself because she wants to win and come over here. And he's like, but we don't want that. Like, we don't want Big T coming over here and pretty much doing what already happened. And he even straight says, like, while Amanda's sitting there, he's like, the last time we gave somebody what they wanted and sent them down to elimination, they won and they came to our team and made us weaker. And he's literally like saying this to Amanda. And I don't even know if she's like catching on, but this entire team meeting conversation is literally just Devin slamming Amanda for sucking and making their team worse, which like is a little bit of an exaggeration, but I just like found that hilarious because it's like she's just sitting there just like do like not noticing anything. And I'm like, girl, you don't even like notice that he's just insulting the fuck out of you right now. Like, what is happening?
That's your girl. Defend her.
Go
for it, Josh. That's your girl.
I can't. Okay. Well, when you give me nothing to defend her with, I mean,
that's right. She's defenseless. She's
literally Josh. Just sitting there and taking it and not realizing what's being said. And if she is, they obviously didn't show it in any way, shape, or form.
They didn't even like her facial expression. Like I was waiting to see that fire in Amanda. Like
I was waiting.
Yeah, you know, where was that? And she was just like, do. Yep, you're right. I did that. And I'm just like, girl, what is going on? Like he even says at the end, he says, if we sent, because they start talking about sending Tori in and, you know, seeing how that could possibly play out, which of course was Amanda's idea. She was the one who suggested this. And Devin says, if Tori goes in and wins, she's going to come back to Emerald and make us stronger. And it's like, and Amanda just shakes her head like, yep. And it's like, girl, you know that if Tori comes back, she's gonna take your spot, right? Like, what?
All right, so here's my one knock on Amanda. Like as much as people like try to say like she knows the game in and out, right? Like it was just a classical not understanding the situation, which is you have 3 girls that are going in that could go in: Emmy, Tori, Big T. If you send in Tori and it's her choice, she's not going to go against Emmy. She's going to go against Big T. Like, so this whole idea that you could get rid of a strong, no, you're not getting rid of a fucking strong competitor. You're just pissing off someone that's going to come take your spot and boot your ass back to Ruby. And That's my thing is, you know, as much as they're all thinking about themselves and, you know, making sure the team makes it, at the end of the day, you got to make sure individually that you're going to make it. And Amanda's best move is for Big T to stay in the house. And I understand that because it gives her a chance to win an elimination if it comes down to being physical. But, you know, I don't understand Devin's big concern. Like if Big T goes down there and no matter who she chooses, she's probably not going to win. You know what I mean? So what are you really worried about?
Right.
I just throwing that out there.
I was really surprised that they didn't just throw in Tori to try and get Tori back. But you have to understand how is Tori going to take it? And I think that was part of the thought process from Devin was like, if I do this, I didn't have a chance to talk to her really about this. So how would it go?
Well, I mean, and they're already like beefing, you know, so it's like, it's not like they're in a good place in their relationship. So, you know, I think that Devin made the right decision going and talking to Tori and just kind of seeing how it would sit with her. And obviously it does not sit well. She's pissed and she pretty much tells him like, look, if you guys put me down there, that's it. Like, that's the end of my loyalty to you guys. That's like the end of our friendship. Like she is pissed that he would even consider this, you know, which I mean, I get, but again, Tori has to realize again, you know, she was one of the ones who pointed out that there's only 3 girls to choose from. Like we're getting down to the nitty gritty. And that's just sometimes how the game goes. And it kind of goes back to like what we were saying last week about Devin and is like, you know, it's a game. Like the friendship thing shouldn't necessarily be like such a big factor in these types of situations, you know, and now it's like this week, I feel like, you know, we're kind of saying that to Tori, like, you know, you can't just like end a friendship. I mean, you can, but like, you shouldn't end a friendship over a game move like that, especially when it's down to the end like this and there aren't many options. But I do want to point out that I thought it was kind of funny that, you know, Devin approaches Tori and, you know, he's trying to talk to her about all of this. And I was waiting for Tori to say something to him like, you know, well, why did you have to go so hard? It wasn't a guy's day. Since that was the same shit that he pulled on her last, you know, when that whole team up thing happened. But of course, like she doesn't call him out on his shit, but they talk. And like I said, she pretty much lets him know like, no, dude, like this is not going to be cool with me. I'm not going to let this fly.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's best for her game at that point. You know, it's better for her to get called down than her to go down there and have to choose. You know what I mean? And I can understand her perspective on it. And I'd probably kind of lean a little bit that way, too. At the end of the day, like we all talk about playing for $1 million. So,
well, yeah, I mean, you know, if they don't send her down there, then she has a really good shot at not being called down. She's got a good relationship with Big T. And, you know, Big T knows that Tori has more experience in this game. And she's also got a really good relationship with Emmy. And so if they send Emmy down, it's more likely that Emmy's going to call out Big T. And if they send Big T down, obviously it's more likely that they're going to call out Emmy, you know? So I think that she definitely made a good decision in standing her ground there and telling Devin like, no, this is not going to be okay.
So yeah, we head into Noms. They start going back and forth, and Emmy goes, starts it off with saying that she doesn't want to be the houseboat, but she's okay with going in. She understands, the situation that they're in, and she kind of lets everybody know, look, she's here to smash heads.
Yeah, she says, I will, she says something along the lines of like, I will body people and I will smash heads. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, I wonder if CT was like getting PTSD sitting next to her, listening to her say that, or maybe he told her to say that. I don't know, but it was just really coincidental, I guess, that she said that right next to CT. It was just, I don't know, man. It was weird. It was really weird.
I feel like he put her up to it.
He's like, hey, say this, because it'll scare the shit out of everybody. I've done it. It'll work. Promise.
Got me kicked off of season once.
Quite 3 times. No.
Quite a few times, in fact. Look, I just love the idea of actual Uncle CT. Like, just tell him this. Scare the shit out of him.
Great.
But anyway, so they keep going around the table. Big T steps up and she's like, look, I want to go in. This is what I'm going to do. If I get sent in and I win, I'm going to come and take Amanda's spot on Emerald. And, the Emerald team is like kind of trying to talk her out of it. They're like, look, if you come over here, that doesn't just necessarily mean that you win. And like, kind of trying to get her to go a different way. Like they really do not want to vote her in.
No, they don't.
It just doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
No, it doesn't make any sense. But I respect her for what she's acknowledging, that it was her fault that they lost. She messed up. This is my way of like making amends to it by going down there and being the houseboat. Yeah,
I completely respect Big T for wanting to go down there and prove it and earn it. And she kind of sees the writing on the wall. I mean, Big T's smart about it. She might not be the greatest competitor, but she's got a really strong social game and she knows how to read a room better than most. So with that being said, I give it up for nominating herself. But to me, it just doesn't make any sense for like Emerald to bitch and moan one way or the other. You're down to 3 people. Like you're not going to get fucking Emmy versus Tori. It's not going to happen. Neither one of them are going to choose the other. They're no matter what going to choose Big T. So they're making much ado about nothing, in my opinion. Just like the next scene, because even though it's a fucking girls' day.
Oh my God.
Nelson and Devin decide, you know what? Noms is the best time for us to take pot shots at each other about, not being who has the best stamina, who knows how to spell Mississippi.
Who knows what's 8 times 9?
If there's 3 people, meaning you only have a 50% chance of going in.
Yeah, so I mean, this whole scene is so cringe. Devin starts off by throwing an underhanded comment about Sapphire and Ruby teaming up a couple episodes ago against them. And, he's trying to kind of explain away the situation and the decision that Emerald may make by, comparing it to this situation, which CT calls out immediately. Tori backs CT up, and Devin tries to kind of play it off a little bit. And Nelson jumps in and just gives Devin this weird, awkward, Devin calls it an insult sandwich, where he's explaining to Big T, he loves you and he doesn't want to hurt you. And, but he's going to use his words as a weapon because that's what he's good at. But he still loves you. And Devin immediately calls him out. They start bickering like a bunch of schoolgirls, and they're not even involved in the situation. It's not even a guy's day. What are you guys doing?
Can we be honest, though? I mean, that is Devin's MO. It's not like Nelly told a lie there. He was pretty spot on it.
No lies were told.
Yeah, just all. During the daily, and I know we didn't say this, Nelly kind of calls Devin out in his confessional saying he'd much rather, drink a 6-pack of beer and play pool all day rather than get on the treadmill. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds phenomenal. That's what I would rather do too. But I understand. I was like, but I get where Nelly's coming from on this, but nonetheless, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. So, mommy Nani, she jumps in, cuts the bickering off, pretty much tells them to go to their rooms, and we move on and
put on their get together or get along t-shirt.
Put on your get along t-shirt. Okay. We're going to start the timer now. Give each other a hug. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so we get down to the voting and no shock, Emerald ends up voting in Big T. They know that if they vote in Tori, things are just going to get worse. That's just not a good move for them. And I think that this was, even though they're risking Big T potentially infiltrating their team, I think that this was the best situation for them, because I just think that them voting in Tori would have ended up backfiring on them.
Agreed.
So after noms, everybody's leaving. And Emmy approaches Emmanuel and she is fucking pissed because she feels like Emmanuel protected Tori over her during the deliberation portion of Emerald making their decision. And, she lets him know straight up, like, I feel like you went along with the plan of sending Big T in because you know that Big T will pick me over Tori. And that's why you did it, and Emmanuel's like pretty much telling her like, dude, you're being overly emotional. It was nothing to do with that. Like, even if I voted for Tori, nobody else was going to vote for her. So like, what did you want me to do? I'm only one person.
Like if he voted for CT or for Big T and not Tori, she has a point. But then again, you're like, all right, so do I vote in Tori, who I'm with, or my friend? Who do I protect?
My friend who's already won 3 eliminations this season, and it's Big T. Like, and again, no, like, I'm not trying to insult Big T or anything like that. I actually really enjoy her. It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, it's Emmy. Like, she's more than shown us what she's capable of this season. And yeah, I don't think that the thought, I don't think that he made the decision with those ill intentions. I think that Emmy is taking it personal because it sucks to be in that situation. Like, I definitely don't blame her for feeling the way she feels, but I don't necessarily think Emmanuel was like, like, let me do that. I don't think it was like premeditated.
He couldn't have got the numbers to vote in Tori in any way, shape, or form. It was just not going to happen.
All I got to say is Tori must got that good because Manuel's already dropping his Romanian sister. Like, nope, sorry. Voting for her. It is what it is.
All right, so we should write that question down, save it for a later time.
I'm going to let you ask that question, and I'm going to let you edit this last part out in case she listens to our fucking episodes. I mean, look, I understand Tori's a really sweet gal, and I can understand Emmanuel picking, her, because obviously they have a connection.
Obviously.
With that being said, I think he tried it's not like he had to pick Tori or Emmy, right? And he picked neither of them. He picked Big T. He did what was best for his game at the end of the day. And we always tell people, or we always talk about the cast member should do what's best for their game to win $1 million. He did what was best for his game. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's like you said, it's not like he directly voted Emmy down. I think this is just one of those moments where it's an emotional situation. And at that point, you don't, Emmy, she's closest to Emmanuel in the house, other than maybe CT. And I'm sure she talked to CT about the situation too. But it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, she feels comfortable taking her anger out and her frustrations out on Emmanuel because they're close and they're friends. And I think that that's more what was happening rather than what it actually ended up looking like. But anyway, so we head from there. We actually get a cute little scene of Big T sitting and she wishes Tori luck, which this is kind of not my first sign, actually, really the final sign to me that Big T is going to call down Emmy. She tells Tori, look, if I don't win tonight, then I just want you to know that, like, I wish you luck, and I hope you kill it, you make it to the final and you kill it in the final, kind of thing. And so it just kind of shows that, like, Big T isn't thinking about calling Tori down, in my opinion, as hard as she probably is thinking about calling Emmy down. So we get down to the elimination. This elimination is called License to Chill, and pretty much what it is this big, like, kind of ice pool, like, box thing, and freezing cold water. They got to jump in, swim under this little bridge, ring a bell, swim back, jump out, work on the puzzle until TJ sounds the air horn. And when that happens, they have to jump back in and repeat the process until the puzzle is completed.
Yeah. And look, I think the most obvious and the thing that grabs your attention the most during this elimination is one that Big T and Emmy are pretty much neck and neck for a majority of this elimination. You know, they're both in and out of those pools at about the same time. They're both moving those puzzle pieces around. But the second, more obvious and even more eye-catching thing was just how pronounced CT's cheering and help for Emmy was. You know, I figured he might have been a little bit more reserved, seeing that his partner from last year was there, but there was no qualms about it that, you know, Emmy was the one he was going to get through that.
Yeah, and he was 100%, and nobody's sitting there cheering for Big T. You know, when you're in the middle of that and you hear it, like Amanda, the one before, you just have to be able to be that person to use that to push you. And Big T is just not that person. She'll get there, hopefully, but she's just not that person.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, it was a little tough to see, you know, to see the whole CT, Big T, Emmy thing kind of play out right there, just based off of like, you guys are damn children. They're sitting here flipping each other off and making faces at each other. Oh my God. God, you guys are worse than the kids. Anyway. So yeah, CT's helping Emmy. He is all over it. You know, Amanda starts running her mouth saying that CT is making it worse for Emmy. But honestly, like, if he hadn't have talked to her about that puzzle and had her start back over from that one piece he kept telling her, and she was like not listening to him, and then she finally listened to him. If he hadn't have done that, like, I don't know if she would have won, because Big T was right behind her. Like, when Emmy finished that puzzle, Big T was not far behind.
I mean, let's be honest. Emmy was the brawn. CT was the brains of this operation.
Right.
Well, she'd been saying from the moment she saw that it was a puzzle, she's like, oh shit.
Well, and double oh shit, because Big T is a good swimmer. You know what I mean? And she had a really good strategy jumping in and out of those pools. You know, she'd jump in and she immediately just went underwater, and instead of wasting time having to do make it into two different steps like Emmy was. I think Big T was moving a lot faster than her in the water, but I think what was slowing Big T down was those giant ass puzzle pieces. I don't think that she necessarily had the strength and endurance to keep picking them up, moving them around while she's freezing fucking cold, you know, whereas that's something that Emmy would excel at. And so, you know, of course, Emmy wins this one. This is now her 4th elimination win this season. She's also got 2 daily wins, maybe 3, 2, right? Sapphire only won twice, I think.
She won one with CT, I'm pretty sure, though.
Yeah. So she's got
puzzles.
Yeah, you're right. So she's got, because they won one when they were partners. Her and CT won that one when they were partners. And then she's won twice on Sapphire. So that's like 3 daily wins that she's got so far this season. I mean, she is just killing it. Like, you know, everybody was absolutely blown away. Okay, so we just looked it up and confirmed it. It is 3 daily wins from this season.
And 4 elimination wins.
And 4 elimination wins. Like, she is killing this season as a rookie. And like I was about to say, you know, and this is in no way to try to take away from Amber B, but everybody was super, super impressed with Amber, her rookie season. She did great, made it to the final, ended up winning. Obviously, we don't know if Emmy makes it to the final. It's looking real fucking good for her so far, though. You know, but at the same time, like, I seriously think that Emmy is one of the best rookies we have ever had. Like, I can't necessarily think of any one person who has had a better rookie season than this.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a big Bamber fan. I'm a Bamber stan. Bamber stan. Sorry. Anyways, I was looking at the stats, and Amber in 2 seasons has 1 daily win, 3 elimination wins, and 1 elimination loss. So, I mean, to me, already Emmy's having a better rookie season than Amber had 2 seasons. Now, yes, Amber did win the final with CT, but the key word with that was with CT. If she goes into that with anybody else in that final, I don't think she wins it. That being said, CT goes in that final with someone else, maybe he doesn't win it. We don't know for a fact. Can't tell.
Right. Yeah.
But to me, arguably, Emmy's on track to be one of the greatest female players ever if she keeps this line going that she's currently on, you know, to win 3 dailies, 4 eliminations, and, you know, it's not like it's all been 1 elimination. It's not like they're all headbangers. You know, they're a little bit different every time. She's had to be strategic. She's had to do puzzles. She's had to do the headbanger, you know. So my thing with Emmy is I don't think anybody wants to see her. Anybody. Like, and I would love to see her up against some of the solid female vets, the Cams, see her go against Tori, see her go against Casey. I mean, I feel like that's going to be extremely, extremely fun to watch.
Oh, definitely. And the more she comes back, the more we'll see it. We'll get more chances. She's going to have to go up against them sooner or later.
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, I hope she keeps coming back because like if she's, you know, playing at this level on her rookie season and then she goes home and she continues to train and, you know, be ready for these kinds of games, then I can't imagine how fucking incredible she would be by like her 4th or 5th season of this, you know. So shouts to Emmy. We are absolutely loving that, loving you, loving everything that she's doing. And, you know, it's no secret to anybody. It was never even a damn question. I don't even know why TJ asked her what cell she wants to go to. But of course, she, you know, stays with Uncle CT, goes back to Sapphire. And, you know, we say goodbye to Big T. And honestly, from the sound of Instagram, it sounds like we're actually saying goodbye to Big T for good because she put something out, I want to say on Thanksgiving Day or the day after Thanksgiving, that said that on Wednesday when the episode had aired and she went home, she said that that would be her last time on the challenge because it was also the day that she finally got accepted to her dream culinary school. So Big T has officially announced her retirement from the challenge and she is moving on to go and follow her dreams, go to this dream culinary school that she's been trying to get into for years. And you know what? I am fucking stoked for her. And I just want to send a huge congratulations to her for, you know, continuing to follow her dream and for making a decision like this that's difficult because you can tell she loves the show and she loves coming here and she loves hanging out, partying, being in the house, meeting all the people, and even loves the competition. So to let go of something like that and completely just walk away without, you know, completely fulfilling her goal on the challenge says a lot about how much she really wanted this culinary career and to go to this school. So just want to send out all our love from, you know, everybody here at the Challenge Fandom podcast team and wish Big T all the luck in the world with that.
Right. So after she lost, I was looking and I was listening to what TJ had to say because we've talked about this many times, you know, just listen to how TJ says bye to somebody. And he did not say, I'm sure we'll see you again.
Yeah.
So,
TJ knows. TJ might say it, but TJ knows.
He knows.
Yep. Yeah.
He knows. I mean, look here, you know, shout out to Big T for doing what she's passionate about, even stepping away from something like the challenge, which over the last few years seems she's been pretty passionate about as well. You know, so shout out to her. And, you know, when you get done, send me a good recipe for pop-ups or popovers. I think they're called popovers.
Popovers. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? You dip on? Yeah.
We're there.
No, not for real. Big T, send me that. Looks like what we have 5 women left, 6 guys left. So I'm assuming we probably have 2 more men's elimination, 1 more women's elimination before final is my assumption.
2 men, 1 woman. Yeah, that's not, yeah, guy, girl, guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was just having this conversation beforehand. I was like, all right, we're at 5 and 6. I can see 1 more elimination and then a purge.
Either or. Yeah.
Could be that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, this is TJ's final. We never know.
Are we taking a plus or minus? Do you think they're going in as the cells, or do you think they're going to go in as partners, individuals?
Ooh.
I don't know. Because I don't see it working as cells. I see it going into back to a team and possibly with the same, like, first checkpoint, the winner gets to decide if they want to switch partners, kind of like what they did last season. But you never know. I mean, they go all over the place and they never like to do the same thing twice, or at least so soon together.
Right. Well, and I was even thinking, you know, they might even pull something like what they did on Invasion and what they did on, I believe they did it on All Stars. this where you had to switch off your partner
With
at every different checkpoint, you know? So that would be kind of interesting too. And then obviously the highest time guy, highest time girl wins, blah, blah, blah. So that would be interesting. I don't know. I feel like it's going to go back to teams back to partners. I don't think that they're going to be able to run this final as teams as they sit, especially as uneven as they are. I don't know. I mean, I know that they kind of did this on what was that, War of the Worlds too, where the teams were, so uneven. There was way more on the American than there were on the British team. But I don't know. I just don't see how that can work with 3 teams. And I just don't see it happening. I don't know.
I think it's partners to take a page out of Nellie's book of saying the title of the show every episode. It's Spies, Lies, and Allies, y'all. I feel like we're through the spies and the lies, and now it's going to come down to picking, your partner,
picking your ally
that you're going to run the final with.
Wow. Okay.
You like it? Yeah. You see what I did there? I put it all together in a nice presentation in a box, and here you go. You have it.
It must be Christmas time. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but you included Nelly in your equation. So
who's going to beat Nelly T?
For real, though.
Who's taking him out before we get to the final?
Emmanuel. CT.
Look, I'm going to be honest. Emmanuel has a chance of beating Kyle. He has a real chance of beating Devin.
Yeah.
He ain't got a shot in hell to beat Nelson in anything other than a puzzle. That's the only thing he's beating Nelson in my opinion.
I feel like that's so hard to say because we haven't seen Emmanuel like that.
I don't care, but I've seen Nelly.
Yeah.
Bring him up in the capture the flag, all at Alton.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, and here's my thing. Nobody's dumb enough to call CT down. Not one person in that fucking show.
No.
TJ don't even want to call CT down. You don't even want to have to announce it. Like, y'all voted in CT. What the fuck?
What the fuck were you guys thinking?
Yeah, no,
I ain't saying this shit.
Nobody wants to see CT down there. Like that time is gone and past. Like when Fessy got eliminated, that was your last chance. Other than maybe Corey. And like I give Nelly, I think we've had this debate, depending on the elimination. I give Nelly 40% chance of beating CT in something, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
If it's a puzzle, 0. But
and I know CT's your number one, Karina, but I had to listen to the Marlon one twice, and I'm still mad that I wasn't a part of it. Mm-hmm. But I want to have people like Marlon on or Kells, and I want them to be like, all right, let's call CT down every single time. Let's call Fessy down every single time, because sooner or later they get tired of getting called down there, and they're going to lose.
Absolutely. And I mean, even as CT is my number one, I can recognize the fact that CT still lives off of, his reputation, and nobody's going to call him down because he's CT. So he just rides these seasons all the way to the end and just coasts. And it's no big deal. It's whatever, and I would love to see that shaken up. I would love to see him tested, especially in this new day and age that we're in, where CT, I don't know, discovered a time machine. I don't really know. I don't understand it. But I would love to see him tested with this new body he has, and we don't have anyone around who can really test him. Like you said, since Fessy went home.
To add on to what Josh said, we discussed this with Marlon. Here's my thing with CT. In an elimination, you got a 50-50 shot, unless you can't do a puzzle, right? But anything else, it's been proven that you have a 50-50 shot with CT in elimination. He's about 500 when it comes down to it. In the last 10 years, you get him into a final, you got about a 10% chance of winning. And he's going to beat you, so 10 times in a final, he's going to beat you 9 of them. You know what I mean? Unless you're fucking Jordan. So you better take your shots at CT in eliminations and not in finals, because that's a tough game to fucking play and win. You know what I mean? And that's where I think they're fucking up this season, is they're not willing to take that risk. Somebody's going to have to take it, and ain't none of them in there got balls enough to do it.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. He's going to ride to this final.
Yeah.
We'll just see if anyone can actually beat him in the final, but that's the thing, is you also got to credit the fact that you just credited Nelly to the final, and Nelly lost to CT by 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And Nelly wasn't Like the shape that Nelly is in now today was not what he was in Invasion. He was a lot smaller in Invasion. His endurance was a lot lower in Invasion. Like I think he is a way better competitor today than he was on Invasion of the Champs when he lost to CT by 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And CT was in bad shape too. So, I mean, it's not bad shape, but not as good as he's in now. But so I think that it would be a decent race between those two, to be honest with you.
All right, let's take CT out of the equation. Let's say we can't really say anything about Manuel because we don't know anything about him. We've only seen him in this season, haven't even seen him in Elimination yet. But we can take Nelly, Devin, Kyle,
Logan.
We can't say anything about Logan. We haven't seen him ever run a file.
No.
Out of those three, Devin takes third. I want to give Nelly the edge to Kyle, but Kyle has experience, more finals, more recent finals, knows a little bit more what to expect. I don't know endurance wise. I think I'd want to give the edge to Nelly, but I think it could be close. You throw CT into that mix and everybody else is fighting, in my opinion, once again for second, third, and fourth.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I
just, I don't know with Emmanuel. Like Emmanuel might be the best in the final. He might be, he might be Jordan, another Jordan, or he might be a Landon where he's just got endurance for days.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We haven't seen anything, so that's where it's like,
hard to say.
It's hard to say. And same with Logan. Logan might be able to run for 26 miles without taking a break. But
he sure makes it sound like it. The way he was like talking to Big T in the daily, he was like, it's just a couple of miles, like no big deal. Like run. It's just a couple miles up the road. Like, okay, Logan, thank you.
Call me an Uber. Looking forward to the next couple episodes because look, I'm gonna be honest, like maybe it was because last week's episode was really good and I enjoyed it a lot.
And the one before.
Yeah, and the one before was pretty good. I feel like this one was a letdown. Like we went from the daily where people are getting their fucking backs blown out from running into each other to fucking maybe backs blown out is the wrong word to use. But anyways, we go from that to
Ricky was watching the wrong show.
Oh snap. It's not never mind. So let me rephrase that. Getting knocked out from running into each other to this week, they have to run a mile and a half with a duffel bag. Like it wasn't appealing. It was a fucking hard watch.
Full of money.
First of all, they cannot get the insurance to put $3 million like that just for them to run. It was monopoly money.
It was fake, guys. Sorry to break your hearts. If you believed it was real, it was definitely fake.
But
oh, poor Josh.
But like it was just such a hard one to watch. It was just like you can go to a park and watch people run around. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing special. And I get it. It's part of the show. Not everything can be a headbanger, but it was just so much of a letdown to me. I don't know what else to say.
Okay, but this was like an integral part of TJ's final. Okay, of preparing them for TJ's final. He even said it.
I'm sorry. If you watch the challenge for one fucking season, you know that you have to run in TJ's final. Like you don't need an intro to that. Like and everybody knows that
you're going to be carrying something when you're running.
Yeah. Hopefully not your partner.
To someone.
Yeah. Like, you're running.
Hopefully not your partner.
Yeah. But I mean, like, so where's the surprise in that? Like, I get it. There's a lot of rookies, but I hope you watched last season because guess what they did? They ran in the final. You know what they did the season before that? They ran in a final. Want to know what they've done for the last 10 years?
Did they run in the final?
They ran in the final. I mean, it's like Forrest Gump is writing these fucking finals, and I'm okay with it. But nonetheless, like, it was just a dull episode.
Oh, my God.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk.
How do you really feel, Rick?
I'd rather drink a 6-pack of beer and play pool all day. From myself, Rick, my wife, Karina, the illustrious Josh, we want to thank you guys so much for listening. You have a great night, day, morning, afternoon, brunch, whatever you're doing when you're listening to us. But once again, thank you for listening to us. We look forward to talking to you guys soon. Take care.
Bye.